Ukraine war, Donald Trump says peace negotiations with Russia to start immediately. The US president suggested Vladimir Putin, who has invited him to visit Moscow, wants to make peace. Donald Trump also spoke to Ukraine's president, who wrote on X, "No one wants peace more than Ukraine, let's get it done." Donald Trump says there has been agreement to begin negotiations about ending the war in Ukraine, after holding phone calls with Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky. It is the US president's first big step towards diplomacy over a conflict which he promised to end within 24 hours of being inaugurated. "We both agreed, we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia/Ukraine," Mr. Trump posted on Truth Social following discussions with Russia's president. He said the pair would work together very closely towards winding down the conflict and agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately. A Kremlin spokesperson said Mr. Putin and Mr. Trump had agreed to meet, with the Russian president inviting the US leader to visit Moscow. President Putin, for his part, mentioned the need to eliminate the root causes of the conflict and agreed with Trump that a long-term settlement can be achieved through peaceful negotiations, said Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov. Meanwhile, Ukraine's president wrote on X that he had a meaningful conversation by phone with Mr. Trump to discuss opportunities to achieve peace and the preparation of a document governing security and economic cooperation. "No one wants peace more than Ukraine. Together with the US, we are charting our next steps to stop Russian aggression and ensure a lasting, reliable peace," he said. Mr. Trump added that his phone conversation with Mr. Zelensky went very well, suggesting that he, Mr. Zelensky, like President Putin, wants to make peace. On social media, the US president said, "It is time to stop this ridiculous war, where there has been massive, and totally unnecessary, death and destruction. God bless the people of Russia and Ukraine." On Wednesday, the U.S. Defense Secretary delivered a blunt statement on the new U.S. administration's approach to the nearly 3-year-old war. Speaking at a NATO meeting in Brussels, Pete Hegseth said a return to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders was unrealistic and the U.S. did not see NATO membership for Kyiv as part of a solution to the war. "Chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more suffering," he said. Separately, the U.S. and Russia agreed to a prisoner swap. America freed a Russian cybercrime boss in return for Moscow's release of schoolteacher Mark Fogel, a U.S. official said on Wednesday. Meanwhile, at a White House news conference on Wednesday, Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt said she was not aware of Mr. Trump putting any preconditions on his meeting with Mr. Putin. Mr. Trump said the peace negotiations will be led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio.